Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Lunch Break Live. Real talk about obesity, food obsession, recovery, and what's really eating you. I sure do hope you can find me because Facebook has other ideas about the program today. Anyway, I am Cari Dela Cruz, very, very happy to be back with you. Especially after a couple of days of being on death's doorstep. I wish I could tell you what was wrong with me, but I just can't. So we're not going to linger there. That's not where we're going to live. Today, I have a really lightweight topic. It should be really, easy breezy. Anger or sadness? Which are you most familiar with? All right, that was the question I posed on my wall. But before I dive into that, especially if you are a newer viewer, you should know who I am. I'm a 2007 gastric bypass post-op, living life in recovery from obesity and food obsession as twice the woman in half the body. I tell you that not because I think I'm better than anybody else, but because hopefully you can understand that when I sit here day after day and talk to you guys about stuff, it's not because I think I have all the answers, or it's not because I think I know best. It's because I've lived it and I continue to work through it as I work on my recovery every single day. And so if there's something I can share with somebody else that will help make their journey a little bit better, well, that's why I'm here. And so that's why I sit here and talk about what I talk about. All right? So that's me. And of course, as ever, I've got to know about you guys. Who is here? I have really missed you guys the last couple of days. I do want you to know that. Hi, Mama. I see a bunch of hearts flying by. So glad you guys came back and found me. Sorrel, I got to meet you Monday night when I staggered in on death's doorstep. I didn't look like death, did I? I just felt like it. Oy, thank God Juan was able to drive me that night. Hey, Nancy and Claudia and Bonnie and Melissa and Cheryl and let's see who else. And Marie, haven't seen you in a while. And Brian, are you a newer viewer, Brian? I'm so glad to see you here. So listen, you guys, right now, before you do anything else, share the show, all right? That way people can find me and they won't miss anything, all right? So there's that. All right, now, how many newer viewers do I have? Let me know by, giving me a thumbs up or an I am if you're a newer viewer. And, oh, great. Yes, I did see that, Melissa. Yes, she has group tonight at 6:30 if there are any people in the area out there. So, Melissa, maybe you can post. Hey, Kelly, maybe you can post some information about it so people can find you and find the group. I know, Mom, you couldn't find me because Facebook had other ideas for me. All right. So if you are a new viewer, I'm really happy that you're here. And if you guys are regulars, oh, thank you so much for all of your prayers. They really, really helped the last couple of days. So thank you. All right. So now as I dive in, because I got a lot to talk about, I don't know if I'm going to follow my script or not. I mean, I just have a lot of thoughts on this. So first and foremost, I asked on my wall, I asked the question, anger or sadness, with which are you most familiar, basically, all right? And so here's what I want to know. For those of you who are most familiar with sadness, give me some sad faces, all right? Give me some sad faces. If sadness is your, what I would call go-to, right? Something you're very familiar with, give me the sad faces. Use the little emoticons, okay? Have them fly by. Got it. All right. So I've got some people that are familiar with feeling sadness, okay? All right. How about anger? How many of you guys are very comfortable with, very familiar with anger? In other words, that might be your go-to. How many people are familiar with anger? Shoot me some of those mad faces. Okay, and as you can see, and when I asked on the wall earlier, there were people that said, I'm a little bit of both. And I was kind of digging a little deeper, asking everybody, well, do you think that, why do you think that is? Do you think that is like a newer thing? Maybe you've changed. And some of you said, you know what, I think I might have changed since surgery or since losing weight. Some of you said, I used to be, more familiar with sadness, but since surgery, now I go more towards anger. I get angry more easily now, all right? Others of you said, I used to be angry more, but now I'm kind of more familiar with sadness, all right? And I think it's not uncommon for us to, as we change, to begin to explore different feelings than what we used to feel when we were, the same person we always were. Now, I think it's really, really important. I want you guys to know, I'm not a psychologist, all right? So the stuff that I'm talking about today doesn't come from textbooks, doesn't come from anybody saying, okay, this is what's been proven, this is the way it is, this is the, these are the whys and wherefores, and this is why you feel that way. I'm not going there. I'm just telling you from personal experience because I believe that these two very strong emotions and all the variations thereof, okay, anger, rage, right, hostility, all of that stuff, and then sadness, despair, depression, all right, all of that, I believe that those rob us of our recovery. Those get in the way of living joyfully. And what I have learned as I've continued to do my work, I am the one that gave away my peace and serenity and recovery when I allowed those emotions to rule the day. I do not believe that if I am living in a place of rage or if I'm living in a place of abject despair, okay, I don't believe that I am living in recovery, no matter what the scale says, okay, no matter if I've been binging on foods that are on my list or not. So in other words, even if I haven't been touching certain things that I said, I needed to abstain from, even if my weight is still rock solid, even if I'm working out, even if I am entertaining those extreme emotions, then there is something going on. I'm getting in my own way, and that's usually all about me. And I'm giving away my recovery and my peace. So that is why I'm talking about this today, because I know I'm not alone. I know a lot of us struggle with this. We struggle to find meaning and purpose. We wrestle with it. We beat ourselves up. We feel bad about ourselves, whatever it is. And you know what? That is not the way to live in recovery. We need to find peace and acceptance. All right. So that's pretty much the reason for the show. All right. Now, let's see here. I'm going to kind of maybe poke in on my notes here so I kind of stay on track just a little bit. Generally speaking, here's what I want to know. When you guys think of anger, do you think of it as a strength? So in other words, you're stronger if you're someone who is able to get angry. Is that something that you guys associate? And if you were just going to look at, especially the two emotions, would you say anger represents strength and sadness is more about weakness? If you say that that's true, you're not alone. I think that's not an uncommon belief because, we say, well, people that are angry can take care of themselves. They can defend themselves and stand up for themselves. And people that are sad, well, they don't defend themselves. They can't stick up for themselves. They're victims, right? So not always. Okay, I don't, you see. But again, and everything I'm expressing here is an opinion. Remember that, okay? So, and we all come from different places. But it's not uncommon to come to that conclusion, especially if you're someone that hangs out on the sadness side of things. I always felt very weak and always unable to take care of myself. And I always believed people that were angry were stronger than I was. That was my conclusion. How often do people who deal in rage feel that they are out of control and feel that the other person is stronger because they are able to control their anger? See, so there's a lot of different ways of looking at this. Hi, Sarah. Welcome in. All right. So that's kind of something to ponder and think about. And before I go any further, this is super duper duper important. All right. The way that I phrased the question on the wall, I thought this was interesting, okay? I said, how many, what are you most familiar with? Anger or sadness, right? And I didn't even realize that I had done it this way, but I posed it from the perspective of your own feelings. Like, are you more comfortable being mad or are you more comfortable being sad? But the reality was, wow, we could be very familiar with those feelings coming from other people, living with it. So in other words, we're very familiar because the people we live with or the people that we surround ourselves by tend to have those emotions, right? That's why we're familiar with them. Never even occurred to me when I was posting that. I'm like, duh. Yeah, so we might be very familiar because we are used to being on the receiving end. But I was thinking, what are you most comfortable expressing? See how that works? Kind of crazy. So I guess I got to discuss that too, maybe a little bit. We have to talk about if you're experiencing someone else's anger or someone else's sadness too, just as readily as your own. All right, but before I do, this is really super important, you guys. I need you to do me a favor, all right? I need you to smile. And I mean really smile with your eyes. Very important that you do this, all right? I need you to smile right now. It's so, so important. Okay? Genuinely smile. And if you are having trouble smiling, here's what I want you to think of. Think of something that is unbelievably happy. A reason to celebrate, a reason to be joyful. And the reason I'm bringing this up is it is so important. This is what we look for, the peace of recovery. Of course, we want some joy, which doesn't always mean happiness. But I want you to smile because something came to me and I thought, wow, what's something really big to smile about? I have something new to smile about. My 26-year-old daughter shared a Facebook meme with me a couple of nights ago, and she just put my name by it so I would see the meme, and it said, "There comes the time in every daughter's life when she realizes her best friend is her mom." I never thought I'd see that day, ever. My daughter and I have had something of an adversarial relationship for a lot of years. But I think that through recovery, both of us have come to a place of mutual respect and understanding and ultimate love. So that is a reason for me to smile. All right? So yeah, it makes me smile. It makes me feel good. And yeah, we had our familiar go-to locations, right? I used to go to sadness and despair, and she's pretty good with anger. So you can imagine how that went down. All right. Here's my story, and I see that you guys are commenting, and that's really, really good. And I'm going to try and get back to that as well. I have never been comfortable with anger, ever. No, I mean, that was just something foreign to me, and it was actually more than foreign. It was something I rejected because of my associations with it. Okay, if I was on the receiving end of it, I felt sad. And the first feeling I had was that I deserved it because I had done something wrong. That's me. It's immediately where I go. Someone's mad at me. Uh-oh, I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? That's the first place I go. I was uncomfortable showing anger because it felt so wrong to me. This isn't necessarily right, but this is what I felt, okay? I felt that it was wrong. I felt I would be a bad person if I got angry. And I buried my anger. In other words, I buried whatever anger or emotions or strong, feelings that I had. I buried them, and they ate me up. They just ate me up. And when I talk about the fact that obesity is a disease it's a physical disease, a mental, emotional, and spiritual disease, let me tell you, that was chomping on my spiritual soul and my emotional soul and my mental soul, emotional, mental, all of it. And then it was reflected in my physical person. Oh my goodness. Here's the thing. My sadness knew no depth. There was no bottom to the sadness. It kept going and going and going. It was a bottomless pit. There was always room for more sadness. Always. Just when I thought I couldn't get any lower, I found a way to get lower. And there was always room for more cake. Because everybody knows the best way to treat sadness is through the happiness of cake. And I did that a lot. Basically, I was really super uncomfortable expressing anger, and I was consumed by sadness. So that was, a lot of my life. And I'm not saying that was right or wrong or anything else. It just was me, all right? Some people are very comfortable expressing anger and uncomfortable feeling sadness. I get that too. I know people that are like, no, I don't feel okay. I'm not going there, all right, because I need to be in control or whatever it is, right? Since I'm not a psychologist, which I was saying, I'm not going to dive into the whys and wherefores. I have no idea. I'm not going to say what motivates someone to feel, express or repress sadness or anger or anything. I just have theories. I just have thoughts and ideas. So here goes. I think that anger and rage and sadness and despair are extreme emotions. They are extremes. They're at opposite ends of the scale, you could say, but extremes, the very, very end. And I believe that they come from a place where people are trying to protect themselves. That's what I believe. I think that people who are extremely sad are afraid of being hurt. Please don't hurt me. Please, just don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. And maybe they're afraid of hurting others, they say, right? And for a lot of those people, they say, well, anger is mean, and I don't want to hurt anybody. Right? So maybe they go there. And I think that people who are extremely angry are also afraid of being hurt. I think that. You won't hurt me. You will not hurt me. I won't allow you to, but I also think they're also afraid of hurting others. That's the interesting thing here. And if you'd asked me this 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I might not have believed it. I might not, because of my myopic, vision of seeing things only through the prism of sadness, right? I would have believed that people that were angry only wanted to hurt other people. But I think people who have anger are also afraid of hurting others. I don't want to hurt you. That's what they're saying. But sadness is a weakness, they're saying. And if you were stronger, I wouldn't be hurting you. That happens a lot, okay? So we're like, anger's mean, I don't want to hurt anybody when I say we, the sad people, right? And then, maybe the angry people are like, well, look, if you were stronger, I wouldn't have to worry about hurting you, right? Who knows, okay? Obviously, there are exceptions to the theory. There are always exceptions, right? I'm painting with very broad brush strokes, but for a lot of us all or nothing people, black or white people, this is probably okay. But in general, I think that anger and sadness are ways of covering up fear. I really believe that underneath that rage, that anger, and also that despair, that sadness is fear. We're talking about things like insecurity, right? What if they're better than me? Oh my gosh. What if someone figures out that I'm not as good at this as I said I was? Oh my gosh. What if someone finds the real me and they don't like me? Uncertainty. What if I can't defend myself, right? What if I can't control this? I really think that underneath these strong feelings, these strong emotions, is fear. And I also think that anger and sadness cannot be hidden. They can't be hidden. They always find a way out, always, and often on others. Okay, I like to say we have our unhealthiness all over everyone around us. I would have my extreme sadness and depression out all over everybody. It was like emotional vomit. Bleh. And if you were in my way, you were going to take on what I call emotional shrapnel, right? Or you were going to have to wear a raincoat around me because it was not going to be pretty, all right? And you know, the same I know is true for people who are angry. They're going to have it all over everybody, right? Blind rage, that's where that comes from. So some people are very comfortable expressing anger and uncomfortable feeling sadness, all right? But, oh wait, hold on. Okay, good. I repeated something. All is well. All right. Hold on. Wait. Uh-oh. Oh, put the paper down. Just put the paper down. It'll all be okay. All right. So yeah, who are the people that most likely are on the receiving end of our extreme anger, our extreme sadness, right? When we have it all over them. Who are those people? Our loved ones. The people that are willing to stick around long enough with us. Our friends. Okay? We have it all over them. Because why? They love us. For all of our imperfections, right? They're there for us. And maybe they don't like it, but they stick around and we have it all over them. Do you make your best decisions when you're angry? You know? Do you make your best decisions when you're in despair and you're despondent? What happens when you try to pretend you're fine? It oozes out in ways that you never intend. I promise you it does, right? Have you ever tried to hide it? And people are like, something's wrong, something's up. Oh, I can tell you're mad. Ooh, I can tell you're really upset, right? They can tell. We can't hide it, you know? And then what do? Oh, I'm really sorry. You know what? It's not you. It's not you. I didn't mean to lose my temper, you know, but I'm just really having a bad day. How many times have we done that? We had it all over everybody around us, right? And we're like, oh, I'm really sorry. You didn't deserve that. You were just in the way, right? You just got caught in the crossfire. Or, I'm really sorry, it's not you. I didn't mean to dump on you. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's just I'm having a really bad day, right? It finds a way out. And we try to shovel it down by shoving the food in, and it finds a way out. In my case, because that's really what I'm most comfortable speaking to, my sadness fed my victimhood, all right? Everyone was always out to get me because I was too nice. These are my conclusions. They always took advantage of me because I made myself a target and never stood up to them. But I shouldn't have to defend myself. They're just doing it to be mean. I'm hurt. Those were my conclusions. Yeah, that's what I concluded. It was always about them, I decided. Yep, never about me. But sadness is toxic. Oh, it is toxic and it multiplies and it's poisonous. And guess what I learned? It's often all about you. The person that's sad, okay, let's say it's me, all about me. I saw everything through that prism of intense sadness and fear. Fear. What was the fear all about? Insecurity, uncertainty, doubt, perfectionism, selfishness, seeking approval. See? That was all about me. That wasn't about anybody else. That was about me. But I claimed it was how others made me feel. Well, they make me feel that way. They make me feel insecure. They make me feel. That was my conclusion, right? It was never about me because I was a victim. I couldn't defend myself, though I surely tried. But everyone always hurt me. That was all about me. That's what I learned. All right? Anger, also toxic. It's often all about you. Others just make you mad. They just, you know what? You just made me mad. They made me mad. He made me mad. What's that all about? Insecurity, doubt, selfishness, not getting approval, not having control. Do those things sound familiar? Guess what? That is all about the person who is enraged. Okay? Now, bear in mind, I am not talking about healthy anger. Okay? Healthy sadness, I'm not talking about that here. I am talking, like justifiable anger or understandable grief. Not going there. I'm talking about unhealthy variations on this, the toxic, poisonous, the things that rob us of our recovery. I'm talking about the kind that eats us up and lies to us so that we will feed it, of course, right? Unhealthy anger like blind rage. Unhealthy sadness like victimhood. They are limitless and they know no bounds, right? There is no boundary for either of those things. They will ooze wherever they want to go, and we will have it all over everybody. When we try to hide it from others, we are consumed by it because it's all about us. We are consumed by our rage. We are consumed by our sadness. When we have it all over others, then they are now consumed by it, and it's a lose-lose proposition. We feel bad about ourselves because we had it all over somebody else, and somebody else certainly doesn't feel good about our having it all over them, do they? That's a lose-lose proposition. When we make other people the target of our unhappiness, whether it's through rage or despair, we are not living in recovery, guys. We are living for ourselves and our disease. Got that? Okay, so if I am living in this place of despondency where it's all about me and I want everyone to have pity for me and feel sorry for me, I'm focused on me. I am not focused on the piece of recovery. Not at all. I am making that all about me, and I need to get out of my own way. If I am in a constant state of rage, then that is all about me. And everyone else damn well better get out of my way. That is all about me, and that is the antithesis of recovery. You've heard of the dry drunk, right? The person that's not using, not drinking, not whatever, yet they still have all this rage. You have the other part too. A dry drunk can also be someone who is engaged in this self-pity and despair, okay? Both of those things are, they are the enemies of our recovery, all right? And we are living for ourselves and our disease when we are living there. So let me get back to fear, because I wonder how many of us are even aware that our unhealthy behaviors might be coming from it. Fear does not go away when you feed it. I think it makes it stronger. How often have you tried to feed your fear to make it go away? You were afraid of something and maybe you weren't even aware of it, but you did. You just kept stuffing the food down because you didn't like the feeling. Maybe you didn't even identify it as fear. All you knew was you didn't like the feeling. It made you uncomfortable. Stuff it down. Think about this for a minute. People who are afraid they'll regain weight often regain weight because they feed their fear. People who are afraid they won't be able to live without certain things, like soda or sweets, right? Stuff like that, often overindulge in those things because they feed their fear. The uncertainty, right? The insecurity, the doubt, the perfectionism, okay? What about success? Ooh, well, what happens when someone doesn't meet their goal weight? Think about that for a minute. Well, they might get angry, and they might decide it was a stupid diet anyway. You know what? It was stupid. I blame the diet. That was just dumb. That was unrealistic. Nobody can do that. Why do you think they have a little asterisk at the bottom that says results not typical? Please. It was that. It was the diet. It was them. It wasn't me. Come on. I'm just not cut out for that. Or the surgery didn't work. Pfft, right? Anger. Or they might get sad because, well, I didn't deserve to succeed anyway. I don't know why I thought I was going to do something different. I've never succeeded before. Why should I start now? Right? I should never have gotten my hopes up in the first place. Right? I mean, these are very familiar feelings for a lot of us, aren't they? And again, I am much more familiar with sadness than anger, so I can't really speak as strongly to anger, other than to say this. I have been on the receiving end of it many times, and I now realize that I allowed myself to become a victim of it because of fear. Fear. What if I can't defend myself strongly enough against them, right? What if they say something that I can't answer? What if they tell someone that I did something bad or wrong? Oh my gosh. What if someone starts to think bad things about me? Oh my gosh, right? And then this person says something about me and then somebody else is going to believe it. And right? Fear. Fear. Suffocating fear. What if they're better than me? Oh my gosh. What if they're better than me? What if they don't like me? What if they don't like me? That's what goes on in my head. And that's what I fight. That is the enemy within that I fight. And I say, I am not going to feed you anymore. I'm not going to feed you food, and I'm not going to feed you my heart or my thoughts anymore. And I'm not going to allow you to rob me of the joy of recovery anymore. I do not fear you anymore. Get out of my way. That's what I do. I talk back to it. Fear. Now, my daughter and my husband are very comfortable with anger. I don't think I'm speaking out of school here. I'm not saying that they're ragers, but you know what? When they get mad, they get really, really mad. And so, for example, when I fall and hurt myself, which I used to do quite frequently when I was much heavier, of course, my husband's first reaction is, after he picks me up, of course, after he picks me up, is to get mad at me. Why did you do that? Why weren't you more careful? Right? He gets mad at me. And I used to get really upset. And I'd be like, well, why are you picking on me? I hurt myself. Well, I believe now, after I gave it a little bit of thought, I believe he is sad that he couldn't protect me. I believe this makes him really sad. He's like, I should have been able to protect her, to stop her from hurting herself. And he is afraid that something will happen to me that he cannot control, that he cannot stop her, that he won't be there for. And he is angry that he did not control it this time. That's my belief. I've talked to him about it, and he says, yeah, that. And I always saw my dad do that with my mom. We learn a lot that way, don't we? All right? And I've talked to my mother-in-law, and she's like, yeah, he gets mad at me every time I fall. What's that all about? Okay? So it takes time to step away from my victimness long enough to say, okay, I get it. He's not doing it to be mean and being hurtful. I think it's coming from a place of fear and frustration and sadness that I could really hurt myself and he can't do anything about it. Okay? That's my belief. Control. That's a real biggie. And that's right there with the fear. Fear of not having control. Ding, ding, ding. That's big for me. Anybody else here with the anger? Right? Is that big for you? Fear of not having control. I can't control what others think of me. I can't control the outcome. I can't control that person from saying bad things about me. I can't control him from being angry. I can't control her if she feels hurt. I can't control others. Boy, talk about real reasons we use to be angry or to be hurt. Hurt that we can't control others, that we can't control the situation. Hurt that others are not doing what we want them to do, right? They're not behaving. They're not doing what we want. There's a lot of that. Okay, now my therapist, as I come up against the 30-minute mark, and I know I'm going to go a few minutes long, and I hope that's okay with you guys, but I had 2 days off. Okay, justification. All right, my therapist, Robert, used to say, all right, that it was possible that all of these people that I decided were mean and angry, right, that were out to get me, they were just doing it to hurt me, I believe, he said, were probably not trying to hurt me at all. They might have been trying to hurt me as little as possible, knowing how sensitive I was. So in other words, to them, they were like, oh, man, she just gets hurt so easily. Oh, how do I do this so I don't hurt her? I mean, that's pretty crummy for me to be that manipulative and that controlling, where I put the what do you call it? The pressure on them not to hurt me. Ow, don't hurt me, I'm really sensitive, right? He said, so isn't it possible that a lot of these people that you claim are being really mean and angry to you are just trying as hard as possible not to hurt you? Or to hurt you as little as possible, because that's all they know how to do, right? They're like, look, I can't control your feelings. I'm not trying to hurt you, but if you get hurt, I feel really bad about it, all right? That is a lot of pressure to put on someone. And of course, I'm speaking about people who love me. I'm talking about family and best friends. I'm not talking about others out there who may want to hurt me. I don't know. But really, that's not up to me to decide. What is the answer? Should we live in fear that we will hurt others or will be hurt by others? Okay, I believe the answer is love. I do. I really believe that, because in the Bible it says, perfect love casts out all fear. Okay? Perfect love. And I'm not referring to the lovey-dovey, ooey-gooey, romantical kind of love. Okay? I'm talking about the deeper love that comes from having compassion. The deeper love that says, I don't understand why you blank, fill in the blank, feel so hurt, feel so angry, whatever, feel so unloved, right? Feel so wounded. I don't understand why you feel that way, but you must be really afraid of something. You must be really hurt to be that angry, to be that sad, okay? That's what compassion looks like. I don't understand what you're going through, but it must be something really, really bad. Right? And I have compassion for you as a human being that understands what it feels like to be going through something that hurts that much. All right? That's what the kind of love that I am talking about here. And if I'm being honest about my own recovery, when I'm saying, this is when I'm saying, I will own my own crap, and I will not strike out at others because I'm afraid of being hurt. I will own my own crap when I feel that others are trying to hurt me and realize that I don't know their intentions. But I know they are probably going through something, and I must have compassion. And if I see others walking around in a haze of despair like an Eeyore, rather than thinking badly of them and going, snap out of it, suck it up, okay? I'm working to have compassion for that level of despair, to say it must be something really painful for them to feel that badly. They must be going through something really extreme to express that level of pain. And ultimately, compassion leaves room for another person's imperfections, errors, frailties, misunderstandings, and fear, right? That leaves room for someone else to be in error, to not understand, to be imperfect. And that is love, isn't it? True love. So I don't have all the answers. That's not what today's show is, right? If I ever have all the answers, certainly not today. I just know that recovery has required me to face a whole lot of fears, and forced me to own a lot of crap too. You know, the kind that surrounds my innocent sadness. Oh, poor me. Oh gosh, right? Believe me, I got very good at sadness, at manipulating others to feel bad for me. Oh boy, I did. And that's, again, that's not recovery. That's getting in my own way. That's toxic. And you know what? Maybe it is the same for you guys, except yours looks like righteous indignation, right? So instead of going to that extreme sadness, you have righteous indignation that you deal with. Oh, right, well, and you're in a huff, and you get angry about stuff, and you have a right to, right? I have a right to feel this way because I've been hurt a lot in my life, and okay, maybe you do. Maybe you have a short fuse. Maybe you feel like you're always being attacked. They're always judging me, always criticizing me. I always have to defend myself. Maybe you do, okay? But since we can't control others, isn't that something I talk about on the show all the time? I think that if we truly want to live in recovery, our job is to let stuff go. Let it go. Let it go. Stop holding on to our rage or despair and say, all right, this too shall pass. I know I'm really mad right now, but breathe it out. This too shall pass. All is well. All really is well. This is not the end of the world. This is not the be-all to end-all, right? This is not life or death. All is well. This really is not about me. Oh, it's not about me. I'm getting in my own way. Here's the biggie. I have compassion for the other person who is attacking or who always feels attacked. All right? No matter who that other person is, I will have compassion for that person. I cannot give you guys any easy answers, but I can encourage you to take a look at your default settings, okay, your go-to, and see if there might be a little fear hiding behind that anger or that sadness. Maybe there is. Then be willing, be brave, be courageous enough to face that fear and remind it who's boss. Talk back to it, right? We could talk a lot more about this on a future show, but for now, I just wanted you guys to have those thoughts that says, when I am unhinged and letting my anger run the day, when I am unhinged and allowing my despair to rule the day, is that really more about me? And is that coming from a place of fear and a desire to control other people? If it is, I dare say that is robbing you of your recovery and you are giving it away. Perfect love casts out all fear. Have compassion for yourself and others. Remember that it's not all about you. Have faith, work on forgiveness for yourself and others. So that's what I have to say today about despair and about anger. Realize that it might be about you and you need to put that down and let it go. Drop it, right? Stop it, because it's getting in the way of your own recovery. All right, we could talk more about this. I'm going to let you guys go for today. I'm really grateful to be back. Thanks for hanging with me a few extra minutes today going over. I'm going to sign off and remind you all to have courage, seek peace, embrace joy, and above all, grab hold of and live your recovery. Remember, you can't stop feeding what's eating you if you don't know what's eating you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.